Kia ora talofalava whakalawala iatu malo i le leita aloha ni kia ora na and noa ia mahalo. So le kia whaku mahala ki tā. But anyways, yeah, I do love you community. I love my Pacific and my Māori community. I love any community. So in the name of Jesus Christ, our Savior and Lord, I'd like to say talofalava, yeah, and welcome back to another episode of Pacific Health Talanoa. I'm quite ready. I'm pumped to have a Talanoa with one of our young leaders about COVID-19, the vaccination rollout specifically for Pacific communities here in Auckland. I'm not going to talk about how the rollout of the vaccination in Wellington is going, or in Canterbury, or in Timaru, or wherever, but I'm mainly going to talk about the vaccination rollout for our Pacific community here in Auckland. Tamaki makauro. Ea whatalo whatu i fo i rai pa ia mana malu se tātou watu no, i le nei fo i aso lulu, o le aso se fumatasi o kuso, lua se fumatasi o le wase malitaimi, wa 5 minute, wa te inelei tūla e tolu, a whai na e te mai mua mai whafonga mai tātou porkalame, mai whafo atu au kilani, mai tātou watu no i sā mua, a whai na e te whai popo, tuf popo i mai po wa kola 20 a whai na te whai popo po na e whai i alau saka ia po se umu po whea lava se vaenga i sa moro i whafonga mai ai talo whātu i ala tātou porkalame ia te oire ni a whiawhi ma pia fo i tātou watunu o lo whapena o na mafuta mai i Australia aluange ngai Siamani ia whanga ngai Lucia o ngai Japani ia malo lava malo tan malo lewa mahai o Olimpeka ia Oila host in 2023. You will find out on Pacific Health Talanoa. Ya po oila host i le tātou Olimpeka i le si fo'i tamusanga lo manei. But the topic for today is vaccination. Vaccination for COVID-19. The reason why I wanted to talk more about this topic because stats shows that the number of Pacific people that have been vaccinated is very, very low. And let's talk to one of our leaders about it and see what she says. Welcome on the show. Today is Hana Schmidt, very young leaders. Oh man, future Prime Minister of
no, don't listen to
Aotearoa. How are you feeling, Hana?
Good, I'm feeling really alive today, very happy, just like you, ready to go.
Ready to go. So throughout your day, it's now after 3 o'clock. How do you manage to keep this smile, and this,
Yeah.
How do you hold yourself together throughout the whole day?
I actually don't know. Prayer is the first thing.
What about your eating?
I'm trying.
Yeah?
I'm trying to drink more water. But health is very important. Having healthy lunch.
Yes,
Stop
yes.
snacking. Okay, I snacked today, but stop snacking too much. Just have a lunch and a snack maybe later, but too much eating will get you feeling unenergized.
That's really good. And maybe going for a short walk, after your lunch would actually give you some energy to finish off your day on a high. And as Hannah said, drinking water is very important.
Only water.
It is vital. Only water. Oh,
No flavored water.
Yeah, that's how we say in Māngere water.
Water. So no flavored water, no fizzy drinks, just try and drink water.
But anyways, COVID-19. The update from the Ministry of Health, ole tana lata mai le COVID-19 mai i le matanga luenga o le soifua maloloina. So up until the 10th of August 2021, o na nafi lea, o le whainga o tangata ni usila ua uma o na whaia lātou tui pui, le tui mua po le first dose, 10 miliona, whaase lau se fulu tolu wafe, 5 se lau I vasfulu. The people that have got their first dose, vaccinated, up until the 10th of August, total number is 1,413,590 as a whole, New Zealand as a whole.
That's a big number. What are your thoughts?
A massive number. But then we are a team of 5 million people.
Yeah, that's right.
And 2 million are under 16. Remember, only 16 years and over are entitled and eligible to get the vaccination. Right. The second dose, 832,491. La whainga lau I lātou, o lewa mahea o na whai le tui mua, po le tui lona lua, mo le COVID-19, 2 miliona, lua se lau whaas fulu ono afe, ma le valu se fulutasi. Total number of those who have got either their first or second dose is 2,246,081. Yeah, I'm going to paki, whanau. That's a really awesome
Well
achievement.
done.
Well done. Well done, Aotearoa New Zealand. But COVID-19.
COVID-19.
What would you like to say about the current state of the COVID-19 vaccination rollouts, specifically for
Yeah.
Pacific people?
Could we start off with that case in Tauranga?
Let's go.
Yeah, so we have a port in Tauranga. Could you tell us more about that?
So in Tauranga, what happened in Tauranga is
The port workers.
a container ship called Rio. Yep, there you go. Rio de la Plata. Silly.
De la Plata.
Rio de la Plata container ship. O lea sawa pēnā o na taula i Tauranga. And some of the crew members on that ship carried the virus. They were actually positive with COVID-19.
How many? Not many of them were vaccinated, though, right?
The port workers in Tauranga, not the crew members, the port workers, out of, I think, say 90, I think 10% of them got vaccinated.
And I just wanted to go into that because
Shocking.
That's shocking. And this isn't the first time it's happened, but I don't want to go on a blaming spree and blame this person and this person. Why do you think this happens?
Is it because there's a lack of communications between management, leadership, and the workers? There is no follow-up process. Yeah, when we started doing a vaccination, we were saying all border workers should be vaccinated.
Exactly. And then we found out later down the line that they weren't vaccinated.
So I know you said we're not going to push the blame on someone or whoever, but someone's going to be responsible for this, because the action of that person or those people are going to put a lot of lives at risk.
And I don't think anyone has taken responsibility over
No one
that.
has come out and say, look, we're stuffed up. We are responsible and we're going to take ownership and we are going to get this right, right? How could, I think...
the port workers are.
98 workers.
Yeah.
Only 9 of them. That's even more shocking. Only 9 of them were vaccinated.
Yeah.
What about the other 89?
And we're nearly into the second year.
And let's not forget about the Delta variant. This is more dangerous.
Oh, right.
More dangerous than the first wave of COVID-19. So right now, the last thing we want is the virus coming back into the community, and it might even affect one person, as another expert from another university said yesterday, one community case would lock down the whole of New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
We don't want that to happen.
Exactly. That's so many, not to be insensitive around it, but there's a lot of working families who are suffering from the lockdown. There's a lot of businesses suffering from the lockdown. So lockdowns are never an easy decision to make, but there is always a risk.
And it's going to cost New Zealand a lot of money. Billion. It's going to cost
by the week.
By the even 1 week lockdown, 2 weeks lockdown, it's going to cost our economy. It's going to do a lot of damage, and then not forgetting the stress and that we go through. I mean, the first lockdown, Hannah, I tell you what, a lot of our people, they felt like they were disconnected, and the way that we had to isolate ourselves, in our homes and disengage, with our families, not going to our churches,
exactly,
not doing things that we are used to,
and not even that. Some funerals that happened. Okay, let's just say Samoans and funerals. We have to be there. The amount of people who missed out on funerals of their own parents. They couldn't be there for that. So it is a very weighty responsibility to take on.
That really gets to me when I hear that, because we lost a lot of our families and friends during the lockdowns. And the fact that we couldn't even attend in person just to send off our loved ones and to say our final goodbye. I don't know, but it's not a good feeling for for anyone.
Yeah.
But anyway, we don't want that to happen.
Exactly.
So what are we gonna do about it? I mean,
Yeah, like you were saying before, is it the lack of communication from government, to the ministries, to the companies and the organizations? How do you think, in your opinion, could we better that?
I think we could be better at that in terms of keep following up on say Port Tauranga.
Yeah.
They should follow up maybe every week who hasn't got vaccinated. You need to everyone that's working at Port Tauranga should submit some sort of paperwork to confirm that they've been vaccinated.
Right, so they should have better processes, better systems in place to make sure that these things are happening. Are there enough people to carry out the work?
Well, then the ministry should put more
be
people
accountable
in there.
for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they're understaffed, then of course, you put more funding in there to hire more people to do the work.
And I did see some job listings going up for data entry for the vaccination tents and locations. So now they're hiring a lot of people just to enter the data.
Just to enter the data.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But then I guess the next question is, are our people going to get vaccinated?
Which brings us to our second point.
Last weekend,
Yes.
a 3-day event was held at Vodafone Event Centre in Manukau. And interestingly, one of our own senior doctors, Dr. Colin Tukuitonga, said in one of the articles that the way that the event was organized and designed, was ineffective for the Pacific community.
That tells me so much. Do you know why? Because, I'm not an expert in health, but during the first lockdown, there was a lot of praise to the Pacific community.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Pacific community. Thank you for always listening to us. Thank you for going out there and getting tested. And also along the lines of, we're going to put these communities who are at risk first, And then hearing this during the first vaccination rollout, that it was not effective for Pasifika people. Why do you think that is?
I think I saw some photos and videos of the event. And to be very honest, it looked like an international airport. I'm so sorry, but honestly,
it looks scary.
It looks
like one of those movies
it looked like,
where everyone's
those
going.
people like queuing up, lining up, and getting ready to be called out, going to the booths and get vaccinated. Yeah, and you can't say anything. You just say your name, confirm your name and your address and date of birth, and off you go. But then, I reckon Dr. Colin Tukuitonga was talking about adding some Pacific flavors, Pacific ways, in how these events are done, having some entertainment, having some motivational speakers,
And that's always my problem, is that when these decisions are made, you can't paint it with one brush.
Absolutely.
There's no one solution for all people, right?
Which shows that there's a lack of people that are running this vaccination centers, mass vaccination hubs, are not really consulting with our Pacific community, Pacific leaders. Ask them, look, what should we do? Should we have some Ausivas or dance scripts to come and perform?
Or even a change of location?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Why don't we set it up at the Poly X? Would be a perfect place to have the vaccination center. One night there, I can guarantee there will be 5,000 people vaccinated. Because you know why? We've got Pacific flavors there. We're selling Pacific arts and crafts.
Yeah.
We're selling Pacific food. We're watching Pacific performances. We're selling fashions here.
Right.
Outfits. So why not take... I'm sorry, Hana.
No, that's okay. You go for it.
I may sound too harsh, but... And the other option could be take the vaccination, mass vaccination rollout centers to familiar places, familiar venues for our Pacific people. So I remember when the Ministry for Pacific People and MOH first
Well, that's
started,
why we have those ministries, right?
absolutely.
To ensure that we're not being painted with one brush.
Wow.
To ensure that our issues are being addressed, and our concerns are being put forward to government.
Not only just being addressed, but being actioned.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about we talk about it, we Talanoa about it, we call it about it, write it down, put it on a presentation, but we're going to do it. We're going to put it in actions. Just like the COVID-19 vaccination funnel that was held by MPP and MOH online on Zoom. And we had a lot of our Pacific leaders, church ministers, doctors, Pacific doctors, and we all heard from our Pacific leaders and church ministers that they said the doors are open, church doors are open for a vaccination rollout. Bring the vaccination rollout to our churches, and that's where our members are. Have you seen a vaccination center in the church, set up in the church?
No, I haven't. But I was just going to ask you about that because I was confused whether the churches wanted it at their church. But after you saying that there was actual consultation, what kind of churches are we talking about here?
I mean, we're talking about Efakasa,
right? The
one
big
of
ones.
our biggest denominations here in New Zealand. They said, and they have massive halls. In fact, Tamaki Health set one up in at POC Ranui. Another familiar, location and facility for Pacific people out in West Auckland. And it's fully booked. Every day it's fully booked. And 2 months after we set up 2 centres at the Airport Oaks local doctors and Ranui PAC church, over 2 months we vaccinated 45,000 people.
Wow.
45,000. And they say something about, the decision makers needing to set these centres up at familiar places, like local marae, local churches. How many Samoan churches and island churches in Auckland? Hundreds.
Exactly. Do you think it might be an issue on a higher level, on a political level, with bureaucracy?
I would say yes, Hana, because who makes the decisions? Who makes the calls? Who makes the final call?
Could you think of any way why they would not want them in churches?
It could be safety. It could be the safety of the vaccine, because it needs to be stored in a certain temperature, right? But then we've been running this vaccination centre at Ranui PAC, and we store the vaccine there.
Yeah.
Everything that's needed for the vaccination centre is stored in a facility.
And it can be brought manually?
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
So there's no excuse?
There shouldn't be any excuse. I mean, and I won't be surprised if this weekend there's going to be a pop-up vaccination centre in one of our churches now.
Well, I hope so. And then that means, you're advocating. Your voice is actually making a change.
Like I say, I want to see actions. I want to see actions because we consult with the community a lot, and maybe our people are sick of us coming to, for advice. What would you like to happen?
Exactly.
How do you want us to do this? They give us the advice and we just ignore it. And I mean, it's just pretty much like, okay, we'll just go to the community because it says here that we need to consult with the community.
Tick the box. Yeah. And in saying that, community consultation can get tiring.
Absolutely.
For the people, and there's just, I don't know, they need to find a way to, like you said, to better have our people vaccinated.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. And the other thing is resources are very also important, having resources in languages. Because I know there was a bit of a delay on resources coming out to the Pacific communities. What is Pfizer vaccine? Before we even get vaccinated, we have to know what is going into our bodies, right?
Exactly.
So for us, it was just a matter of educating our people first about this new vaccine that only took a year to manufacture and design.
Exactly.
So I guess, you know what, Hannah? I'm not surprised if there's people that have got vaccinated and they don't even know what the Pfizer vaccine is. I mean,
there's a lot.
But
that's because, Pasifika people have a general trust for our health system.
Yeah.
They have a
and
trust
health professionals.
Exactly. Because they trust them, they go to these, they put their bodies and they make sure that the decisions that they're supporting is in support of the entire community.
Wow.
And I think that trust needs to be looked after. And looking after that trust means making sure that these initiatives apply to Pasifika people and that they feel safe coming to these spaces and putting it in spaces they're comfortable in.
Nice.
Yeah.
So for us as a provider, local doctors, today we open another vaccination centre on Dawson Road. So we've got a clinic
Nice.
right next to Istamaki e Whakasa. But because we're going to get we couldn't run one at Istamaki e Whakasa, we now open one up today at our Dawson Road clinic. Next Monday, we're going to open one up in Otara, because another feedback from our people is they would rather go to see their GPs, to their family doctors, because as they're very familiar with it. I mean, they have that relationship with their family doctors, so they want to go to see them. They want to go to a familiar place. So next Monday we're going to open one up in Otara, and next Wednesday we're going to open one up in Mount Ruskell.
That's great work. Well done for getting that job done. Action speaks louder than words. Vai mai leto si pai.
And we listen to the people.
Exactly.
They give us feedback. I mean, we ask them, "What's your feedback?" And then we just put it into actions instead of making our people feel like we're just using them.
I understand where you're coming from. In saying that, I just, I thought of another thing. The Fast Party Samoa, the current government of Samoa, have set out their new vaccination plan. Did you see it? Did you hear about that?
I heard about it.
Yep.
I heard about it, but I don't have all the information about it.
Right. So as we know, Samoa previously suffered from the measles.
The measles, yep.
Yep. And during that time, Samoa went through a huge loss. And this is something that that they're going to hold close to their heart and take seriously.
Nice.
So the decision that they've decided to go with is a mass vaccination door knocking.
Nice.
And obviously when a lot of people see that, it may not come off the right way. You're like barging into people's houses, going in and forcing them to have the vaccine. What is your opinion? As a Samoan who has been there, who has lived there, what do you think about that?
Look, Hana, let's not make it sound like this is dawn raids.
Yeah.
We're going to go door knocking and smash down those doors and force people to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
No, that's not what the new government is doing. And I think the strategy that they have put in place, it is going to work, because I remember when I got my first vaccination in Samoa, as a baby. And our parents all used to go to the wharakomiki, to one place, and all parents come into that whale, into the wharakomiki with their children and and get vaccinated. So I think instead of going to the wharakomiki now, our health professionals and health workers are now going to each families, because there's...
But wasn't that the way it used to work? Remember?
It's the same way. I mean...
Because they used to have nurses go out to villages.
Of course.
And then that stopped for a bit.
Yeah.
And now they're doing that again. So it's a good thing to bring back.
It is a good thing. I mean, every district have a hospital in Samoa. Maybe not every district, but most districts have a hospital. They've got a doctor and a nurse. So when there's a vaccination happening, everyone in that district or in that village go to that hospital. But because COVID-19 is different from measles and different from any other pandemics, they need to action quickly. Take actions as soon as possible. So go into families and it's not like they're going to force people to get vaccinated. They're going to give them an option, because we all have rights to be vaccinated or not. So they're not going to say, "Hey, you come sit down. I'll give you the vaccine." The vaccine.
Yep, and my heart goes out to all the health workers. The people who have to carry out this work. It is not an easy job.
Oh man.
Especially with the conflicting ideas, the misinformation on Facebook. They have
the conspiracy theories.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
And they have to knock on these doors and hope that they can cooperate with these families.
But I think that with the case in Samoa is easier than New Zealand, because people are now learning and have learned from what happened with measles. So they're not going to have any sort of like third thoughts about getting vaccinated, because they got the message about what happened, with measles. So if I was still living in Samoa, I would definitely get vaccinated, But you're right about how hard it is for the health workers that are going out to villages, because they're going to have to explain about the COVID-19. They're going to talk about the vaccine, the Pfizer. So by the time they finish with one family, it'll be like an hour. They need an hour, at least an hour. But I also advise, Hana, for our health workers in Samoa, please do talk and do explain to our people, this is what the vaccine is for, and this is what is in the vaccine, and this is why you should be vaccinated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course you will say yes to something.
Of course. Yeah, as long as you understand it and you understand the safety procedures, the reason why it's happening, it's so important. So congratulations, Samoa. I think New Zealand has a lot to learn from you. New Zealand really has a lot to learn from you. Adopt the approach and make sure that you know your people enough to implement these big decisions.
Absolutely. Wow. Oh, I think we should take a break.
Yeah, let's take a break.
I'd like to shout out to all our viewers and all our listeners that are on the show right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you are enjoying your Wednesday because we are. I'm enjoying the kōrero.
Yeah, me too. I'm enjoying this as well. And if you're listening to us right now, make sure, I'm not going to force you to go get vaccinated, but get educated. So visit your local GP, make sure you're ask them all the questions you want to ask. Don't be scared. And get educated.
If you don't have time to go to see your GP, this is your best friend. You just Google in COVID-19 vaccination. Bang! All information is there.
There you go.
Can just lie down, have your not Big Mac, but have your what do you call it? Your sandwich.
Yeah. A nice healthy sandwich.
And your bottle of water. And
Yes.
just do some research. You can always do it. To get yourself educated before you even go to see your GP.
Exactly.
Lovers in love. Talanoa. You know, in Samoa, English is not our first language, but like the rock, we are try very hard. So, let me say, check this out. You walked into the room and put a smile up on my face. Smile up on my face. Do you still remember? They said, please don't leave too soon, 'cause I really wanna know your name. I'll never forget that day. Now we have come a long way, and time goes by so fast. Time goes by so fast. You know I'm tired. You taught me to love again and put trust back in my heart. 'Cause you ain't my sweetie pie or the apple of my eye. You were that amazing, humble girl that's running around my mind. Whatever I do, you know, no matter near or far. Wherever you go, I go, my darling. Wherever you are, I are. Wherever you are, I are. It ain't so hard to be so lost in the love you found. Lost in the love you found. 'Cause the beauty that I can see goes deep within yourself.
Yeah, te whatalo whātiri wha ia mana mamaru tātou wachino i rinei a salulu, 11th of August 2021, o leo se mali taimi 24 minutes to 4. Tāle tūlai whātele, ia le mamaru tō tele fo inisi fo inga le wa mai anga luenga. Ai, e le leipea ona watu se whautuanga a whare soifua malolo ina. Thank you so much, Hana, for our Talanoa about the COVID-19 vaccination rollout. I do hope that, we have made some noises and, and I do hope it's going to get the attention of those who are organising this vaccination centres. But anyways, Hana, new rules aimed at stopping you from vaping. Vaping.
Oh, I have so many thoughts about vaping.
Yes.
I don't fully understand it, but I don't know. I saw a video. I don't know if it's true, but it was a man getting the oil from the vape sucked out of his body, and it filled up a container this big.
Oh my gosh.
And he was smoking vape for a year and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how I feel about this replacing vaping with smoking.
That's very interesting. I think you and I are going to try and get someone like a vaping expert. Someone that can, because...
not the ones who can do the tricks.
No, not those ones. Not those ones that go do...
Yeah. Not those ones.
Yeah, no, not those ones. But I think we should get someone that can talk about all the products, all the stuff in this.
What's inside
What's
it.
inside. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oil coming out of... Oh my gosh.
Oil. They had to take it out.
Scary.
So that scared me.
Yeah.
But this whole time I thought vaping was it probably
healthy.
is. It probably is a better solution than smoking, nicotine.
I would say it is better because, but then some vaping have are nicotine. They've got nicotine in it. But I wouldn't say that it's a better solution. I would say that we're shifting the problem from smoking. We're trying to stop people from smoking, but we're shifting that problem to vaping now.
And then how does one transition from vaping? Because the end solution we want, is no smoking at all.
Because from what I heard from some of my friends and families, is that vaping is more addictive than smoking. Some of them say that, man, vaping is now an addiction, to be very honest. I mean, you can't stop it. It's become a habit, then it's an addiction.
And let's take into consideration the commercial side of it.
Absolutely. I mean,
all commercial people are going to make their product addictive, right?
Addictive.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if it's more addictive than cigarettes, or if that's actually something, but I could see that happening from a commercial point of view.
Yeah, and just hearing from vapers, from those who do vapes, I'm like, really? So we're not really seeing this as a solution to make some people stop smoking, because some of them jump from smoking cigarettes to smoking vaping with nicotine. What's the difference? I mean, the nicotine in vaping might not be harmful than the nicotine in real cigarettes.
Right.
But the changing of the lifestyle and the whole habit thing is still there. You know, there's
Exactly.
having a coffee and puffing, you know. So it's just pretty much like replacing a problem with another problem.
Right. And how does one transition, you know, if vaping is the better option, how does one transit, where do you go from there? Do you go to patches or what? Does vaping encourage you to use? Is it more beneficial? Does it lead you to using patches or?
To be very honest, I wouldn't know. You know, to be very honest, I can't really say the next step from vaping, where to from there. But all I can say is the lozenges, the gums are very effective because it has helped a lot of people quit smoking. So never limit the support that's available for you.
Exactly.
If vaping is a right support that can get you off smoking, go for it. Or if you prefer to get on the lozenges and the gums and the patches, go for it. But I really think, Hana, you know, our people are very strong. We've got, you know, when we want to do something, we go for it.
Yeah.
But I think willpower is the main, for me, willpower and saying to yourself that I can do it without vaping, without patches, without lozenges, without gums. I can do it myself with the support of the Holy Spirit.
And
bang.
the power of Christ. Let's go.
Just that's it. That's it.
But sadly, or unfortunately, people aren't as strong as you, Lorenzo.
And they're different, yeah.
Exactly, and they need the support. So where can they get the support?
Look, I'm aware that there is a community stop smoking or living smoke-free service at the Middlemore Hospital, and they offer that service for free to anyone here in South Auckland that needs help to get off smoking. I'll look up their contact number because I want to pass it on to you. So if you are a smoker, there's support. There's support there. Also, your family doctors or your nurses, you know that you go to see your doctor, Hana. You walk into a clinic and your nurse asks you, what's your name? What's your date of birth? What's your address? Do you smoke? Are you a smoker?
Yes, because it'll affect everything that they put in their reports, right?
Not really.
Oh,
no,
really?
no.
Okay, that's what I thought they always asked.
The reason why they ask is because if you are a smoker and you say yes, the next question is, would you like to quit smoking?
Wow, that's
See?
so cool.
Would you like to get some support? And if you say yes, then your nurse or your doctor should refer you to the Living Smoke-Free Service at Middlemore Hospital or to another community service provider that offers stop smoking support and can come out to your workplace, to your whawhaigaluenga, to your family. Some of them, they work until like 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the evening to accommodate for our Pacific people that work night, long hours.
But Lorenzo, you know, people who smoke, usually there's a high chance of them being raised in families who were previously smoking. So if someone is raised in that environment, you know, regardless of the support that they're getting from their local doctors, how can they tackle that problem of being in an environment of smoking?
Absolutely. I mean, that's a really hard question, Hana, because we see our parents as our role models. We see our parents as our heroes. And if we see our parents smoking, and then you follow the same path, and then your parents turn around and say, don't smoke. I mean, it is hard to the struggle is real in that situation, But to be very honest, if you are educated enough, like you know well enough that smoking is bad for your health, then it's up to the individual, it's up to you to choose whether you want to go down that path.
Right.
And it's the same path that your parents or elderly people
So
that
this
are
is
in
where
your
your
family.
willpower, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus Christ comes in,
It comes
right?
down to that. It comes down to that, Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just in saying that, you know, I remember when, I don't remember, I wasn't even alive then.
Okay.
But like just reading through history books on when cigarettes were first introduced to society as being healthy. And this was, I think, over 100 years ago. You know, they said it's a good health, it relieves stress.
Wow.
And now they didn't find out till later down the line. Everyone was smoking, thinking it was good for their health. Later down the line, they found out it causes cancer. Now we're at a stage where the government is involved trying to, putting tax laws on cigarettes to make sure people are quitting. And I'm just scared that the same thing might happen for vape. We're promoting it as something that's going to help get people off smoking.
You're right. I mean, let's not forget that tobacco, selling tobacco in New Zealand is one of the, most, that's where we get the money from.
Big industry.
What is it?
Big industry.
Big industry and
big money.
Is it revenue or something?
Oh, big revenue.
Oh, there you go.
Fancy que leo words.
Yeah, sorry about it. I would say avenue, but but anyways, because if the government was like true and real about getting everyone in New Zealand smoke free by 2025, because that's the goal that was set back in the 2000s, as to make New Zealand and Aotearoa become smoke free 2025. If the government was serious about making Aotearoa smoke free 2025, there'll be no more smoking selling in New Zealand.
Exactly.
But why? We need this, right?
Yeah. And also, the tax laws that they're putting on cigarettes, it's just making people poorer. I don't think it actually helps people to quit smoking.
The high prices of cigarettes now?
The cheapest is like 28 now, I think.
And now people are not going to stop buying it.
No, so it punishes
families.
The people they're trying to help. It punishes the people they're trying to help. Like, making it more expensive will not get people to quit. They need to find another method. And I guess that's where the consultation comes in.
I guess so. I guess so. I think next week there's going to be a funnel. I know there's a senior advisor in tobacco control for Pacific within the Ministry of Health. And I think for someone like yourself, Hana, a youth leader, I think you should send some sort of like feedback to Stephanie Eric, because she needs that voice. She needs that feedback. We need to do we need to lower the price again, or no?
I don't know the answers, but all I'm saying is raising the prices to smokes will not get people to quit. It's just making families poorer who are at risk. These people smoke because they're stressed. And if you live in a family that's raised in poverty, or live in a family where problems are constantly arising, you need that stress relief, whether that be through alcohol, whether that be through drugs.
People turn to smoking.
And people turn to smoking. So you're actually punishing the people who are trying to help.
Absolutely.
And I don't know, I'm not saying I know all the answers, but I think that's something that needs to be considered.
Absolutely. I mean, I really hope someone from the ministry is watching this Talanoa right now, because we need to get the attention of these people.
You know what it reminds me of?
Yes.
Okay, so at the petrol tax?
Yeah.
They're trying to ban people. They're trying to encourage people to buy electric cars, to save the climate.
Yeah.
By taxing the petrol. Do you think a family with 6 kids with a Toyota minivan is gonna buy a $30,000 electric car? No, they're not, because the Toyota minivan takes their kids to school and it works for them. So you can't punish people.
Man.
And the solution is too expensive or too out of reach.
Who's the punisher?
Is that a movie?
But anyway, simple solution for me is, man, get smoking out of my community.
Yeah.
Simple as that, man. I don't want to see smoking in dairies. I don't want to see smoking in our local gas stations. I don't want to see smoking in our liquor stores. I mean, get rid of the liquor stores in South Auckland.
It's too many.
Too many.
Way too many.
There's 7 or 8 in Mangere itself.
And there was one, there's still one next to my primary school.
And there's one right opposite Southern Cross College.
That was my primary school.
Wow.
And I grew up there, and it was just normal seeing, people go up there and
buy boxes. Yeah.
And buy boxes. Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh. But anyways, I got the number, Hana. So if you are listening in and you need support, you need someone to like work alongside you, to journey with you until you become smoke free. The number is o valu se lau, 595 595 0800 569 568. I must say that we are very lucky here in New Zealand. Very fortunate to have all the services, because in Samoa, are you aware? There must be a smoke-free service in Samoa, but I'm not sure either. But Smoking in Samoa is really bad too. Even drinking.
And it's cheaper there, right?
Cheaper over there. Absolutely, it's cheaper there. And also at the airport. I remember, going overseas, and my family's asked me, "Oh, can you bring some packet of smoke because it's cheap?"
It's cheaper there.
At duty free. But anyways, let's get it out of our community. I don't want to see my our young people and my kids and all our kids, growing up and having to face that same issue. When there are bit of things that they need to worry about.
And maybe let's look at other ways to help people to quit. More better ways. Like there's also the sugar tax. Did you hear about the sugar tax?
Oh, okay.
So it's a tax put on sugary foods to help people not buy unhealthy food. So that they don't eat. Okay. But remember, in these at-risk communities,
don't go for
when
it.
I say poverty, when I say poverty, some people don't have time. When maybe a solo mom with 5 kids working hard, she doesn't have time to buy healthy vegetables. What's she gonna grab? The cookies on the shelf, the chips.
I'll tell you what, there's now Uber shopping or something.
Exactly.
Uber shopping. You just go online, Pack and Save or Count Down. You do your shopping online and get delivered to your house.
Yeah.
So and also, let's just stick to portions because us Island families, man, we cook for like a family of 5, but we cook for a village,
Do you know what we should do?
Yeah.
We should go to Pack and Save, and you should show someone how to shop on a budget but feed 6 people.
Oh wow.
We should do that.
That's gonna be stressful. Because I'll be like, what can I afford with $20 to feed 6 people?
Oh my gosh, I've seen some really good ones online on TikTok where a mum buys, just a $10 tray of chicken breast, gets the veggies, a lacer, and those kind of things. And it's just about buying different things. It doesn't have to be healthy $10 lettuce or, those fancy iceberg lettuce or whatever. But I think that's something you could definitely thrive in, is teaching big families, island families, how to shop healthy on a budget.
Wow. I think financial literacy is also very important, for our Pacific families. Saturdays, make time to go to the flea market, Otara or Mangere market, cheap vegetables and fruits there. And honestly, if I or the weekly shopping. Okay, we only shop for Kohai on Sunday. Then Monday, we go to the shop again. Tuesday, we go. Get used to my way. I mean, sorry, to
That's
my
what I
Palangi way.
We need to video your way.
No, to be honest, because I was saying last night, I went to do my shopping, family shopping, and just one weekly shopping, and you just go to the fridge, store your stuff, you'll mail it on Monday, or a Tuesday, or a Thursday. If you buy yogurt for your kids, you just buy enough, that packet of 9, that's enough for a whole week, yeah.
Oh, what a good show. I really enjoyed this.
Are you going to be my co-host now?
Maybe some days.
Maybe some days.
But I really enjoyed this. No, I'll be your host on some days.
Okay, most days. Most days. No, I really like the flow of the Talanoa and the kōrero and bouncing off each other. And because you are a very, very smart young female leader, I would like to have pick your brain because there's a whole lot of knowledge there that needs to be brought out and delivered to the community, from the community back to the community. But don't forget to get vaccinated.
Yes.
Or your phone. Spend some time to Google instead of do some research instead of doing TikTok and Facebook, every night, every day, even at work. Did you know that if you are Facebooking during working hours, that's... Don't Facebook during working hours, eh? But anyways...
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show, Lorenzo. I will be back for sure. I love these Talanoas. And thank you for being an awesome leader for our community.
Not me.
Making the change happen.
Not me.
Just being humble as usual.
No. But thank you so much, my sis Hana. I really enjoyed our quarter today, but I do hope that you got something, you learned something from our Talanoa. I think for me, I just want to push vaccination again. Please do get vaccinated and don't listen to those conspiracy theories and people who are saying vaccination is a triple sex, is the
Triple
mask.
Jackson. Oh, you said
Yeah, the mark of the beast. Don't listen. Yeah, don't listen to that, man. That's But yeah, believe in your own judgment and health professionals are there for a reason. So thank you so much. God bless you all. I will see you Friday tomorrow. I'm on 5:30 to 1 PI. I'm on really tua.
Squad, baby. Rex, J. Sands.
Let's go.
Oh, say I'm say you are complete to me, I get you. By the way that you move and the way that you smile. Say, oh my Dorima, baby, you be giving your hand, I'll take you anywhere. You give me something that I never had. Cause you care, but about to me and the family. Say, why you waiting on me to talk to you? Yeah, I'ma listen what y'all say. Yeah, don't move out in the come here. Yeah, they on the layout, dirty wine, girl, dirty wine, yeah.